This is You Better You Bet. Nick Costos, Femi Abebefe, hanging out with Randy Moss, our NBC and Peacock teammate, horse racing expert and analyst, breaking down the Belmont Stakes. So with that stage being set for Saturday, how do you see the race playing out? Who wins the Belmont Stakes?
Well, the three horses that finished 1, 2, 3 in the Kentucky Derby that are coming back for the rubber match, so to speak, in the Belmont, Sovereignty, Journalism, and Baeza, who was third in the Derby, are clearly, in my opinion, and in the opinion of most people who do what I do, clearly head and shoulders the three best three-year-olds out there. There's a big gap between those three and the others, but there's a very small gap between Sovereignty and Baeza, with Journalism in the middle, the way they finished in the Kentucky Derby. So you could have all different permutations there of that trifecta. But I feel pretty confident that those three are going to finish in the top three in some order. The big question, the fascinating thing here, in my opinion, about Journalism is this. Historically, over the last 20 to 25 years, horses that run in not just the Derby, Preakness, and Belmont 3 times in 5 weeks, even just the Preakness and the Belmont, right, run worse in the Belmont than they did in the Preakness, to the tune of like 86%. It's a staggering statistic. Now, it may be a little bit different, though, because now the Belmont is at 1.25 miles since it's being run at Saratoga, and not the 1.5 miles, which is obviously more tiring and more taxing, as it would normally be if the race were at Belmont Park. So maybe that'll mitigate some of those stats a bit. But it's going to be interesting to see how much Journalism has left in the tank running for the third time in 5 weeks. After a race like he had to run in the Preakness, after the Kentucky Derby, which is the ultimate stress test for three-year-olds, and after the Santa Anita Derby before that, in which he got in trouble and got bumped around and jockeys were elbowing and everything, and he managed to win anyway. That's 3 strenuous races already, and now he's got to come back and run in the Belmont.
Randy, based on your analysis there, it sounds like, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I want you to tell me if you agree or disagree with this, right? If we think that Journalism might be in a spot of trouble here just because of the wear and tear, right? And Journalism is the favorite right now. And maybe there's not a massive difference between Journalism, Sovereignty, and Baeza. Baeza's the longest odds. Should we bet Baeza for that reason? If they're all close together and you want to ding Journalism a bit, is Baeza the best bet to win this race, while acknowledging, like you said, that any of the three could win at the top?
From a value perspective, absolutely. Journalism was made the 8-5 morning line favorite, which surprised me. I figured that Sovereignty would be the favorite, and I still think he will be the favorite. Maybe I'm wrong. And maybe Journalism is just a throwback to the old iron horses of yesteryear, and 3 races in 5 weeks is not going to be any problem for him. But as the favorite, and he was beaten anyway by Sovereignty and almost beaten by Baeza. He finished only a neck ahead of Baeza in the Derby. And now those 2 horses have been resting, and Journalism's got to come back after a race like the Preakness. That's the kind of horse, I think, from a value perspective, you have to try to take a chance against. Sovereignty was the best horse in the Kentucky Derby. He won it fair and square. He actually dueled with Journalism for a little while at the top of the stretch and outkicked him in the run to the wire. And after watching the Preakness, it's a pretty nice accomplishment for a horse to actually outkick Journalism through the stretch, which is what Sovereignty did. But, I mean, Baeza ran a heck of a race himself. And at the odds right now, I think Baeza would be the best value play in the race.
So you've given us sterling analysis, right? The 3 horses at the top: Journalism, Sovereignty, and Baeza. I have to ask this question because people love a long shot. If there had to be a horse further down the odds board, Rand, I'm like,
no, I know you have to.
It's actually in my contract. I'm kidding. It's not in my contract, but I should ask. If there were a long shot to upend the apple cart and come out of nowhere and maybe win this race, which horse is it and why?
All right, and I'll tell you which and why. The which would be Rodriguez, who won the Wood Memorial. He was going to run in the Kentucky Derby, but he had a foot problem and was scratched by the veterinarians. They were going to run him in the Preakness, but the foot problem still hadn't completely healed, and now Bob Baffert is running him in the Belmont. He's going to set the pace. Okay, there's a horse called Crudo, owned by Bobby Flay. Ironically, the name Crudo, right? It's a popular way of making a fish. But Crudo has some speed too. He can keep Rodriguez honest. But here's the why. The forecast for Saratoga for Friday and Saturday, a 70% chance of rain all day, both days. So the chances of a wet racetrack are pretty high. And it was wet in the Kentucky Derby, and those horses handled it just fine. But typically, wet racetracks favor speed horses, quality speed horses. And if Rodriguez is able to set the pace, as I think he probably will be, and the track is sloppy and you're looking for a long shot, that might be a decent rationale to play Rodriguez.
Final question here, Randy, in like 15 seconds. I mean this as a compliment. I love when you do the words with W and H, like which and why. Have you always done that, or is that like something you picked up as a broadcaster? I'm legitimately curious in like 20 seconds.
I didn't know I did it. You just pointed out something to me that
I say
no
which,
one has ever
you
said
say
that to me
which.
before.
It's fantastic. Like it's very proper, and I mean that seriously. I love it.
Okay.
No one's ever said that
you.
to you before?
No. Now I'm going to have to rewatch this just to listen for the whiches and the whys and see how I sound.
You just did it again. Why?
I did it. Okay.
It's great. You got to come on the show more often, man. Yeah, we'll gas you up like nobody's business. The great
It's
Randy
fun.
Moss
I
joining
enjoy
us.
coming on the show.
And we love having you. And it's been awesome having you for all the Triple Crown races. We sincerely appreciate it. Good luck with your bets, and we look forward to doing this in the future.
All right, guys. Take care.
Randy Moss joining us on the show. Who, what, when, where. I can't do it. My voice is so freaking out there.
Pig Suey.
Yeah,
Doesn't work with that
love
one.